my friends, and welcome to episode 28 of Social Scoop. My name is Kristen, and as always, I'm just so excited that you're here. Again, every week we have this podcast. I literally love it even more. I'm so honored to be able to be part of your week every week. So thank you guys so much for listening. We have just a little bit of social media news this week, but our interview is very exciting. So let's dive into this news. First of all, Instagram is testing a full screen feed. This is something that you've probably almost definitely heard at this point. So this is something I guess I have mixed feelings about. Obviously with TikTok, I'm sure that that's where this whole like full screen feed thing is coming from. Obviously on TikTok, we have the entire screen taken up by video. This is a little interesting to me because I think about photos and how my photos are definitely not the same size as the full screen. So like, is the plan to stretch them? Do I need to start posting photos that are of a different, dimensions? How is that going to work? I'm not totally sure. It seems that it's just something they're testing right now, but I wanted to read you kind of like a couple tidbits about it so that you're in the loop when maybe you open your app and it looks like this. Meta, who is the owner of Instagram, as we know, Meta noted that Reels already make up more than 20% of the time that people spend on Instagram. So that's kind of their way of saying, like, we want to cater to the fact that so many people are watching Reels and make this full screen feed. One thing that I really am weary of with this is in the example that they showed in the article, which is in the show notes if you want to see it. They showed an example of what this feed will look like. And basically the stories were integrated into this full screen display format. And it will show like these little buttons on the bottom where it shows that there's more slides, so you can swipe right to see the rest of the slides. And then you would keep scrolling up and down to see more content. I really don't like the idea of me not being able to tap on someone's specific story that I want to watch and having to scroll through a feed to find them. I don't know if that will be beneficial or not beneficial for us creators. We obviously are just in the testing stages of this, but it's somewhat questionable to me at this point. It looks like right now on this test, the stories would still remain at the top of the screen with all of the, the stories bar positioned up there. But it seems that stories will also in some tests be integrated within the whole feed. So again, not really sure what's going to come out of that, but I wanted to give you the details so that if you do end up being part of this test and you're like, what's going on? Where is everything? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe Instagram doesn't even know. That's my guess. Also, Instagram is working on the ability to add multiple profile links to your bio. So we had talked about this a couple weeks ago, but one thing I wanted to share with you, and I also have a quick rant to go on, it's going to be helpful, I promise, is that in this whole section where you'll be able to, hopefully, again, this isn't testing, you'll be able to add multiple links to your bio. First of all, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I think we all could definitely use that. One thing that's really cool is there will also be the option to add a Facebook group as one of those links that's going to pop up as options for people to click on. And so I wanted to talk a bit about Facebook groups. So if you know already, a lot of you guys are already in our Facebook group. Imagine being surrounded by almost 400 creators in a comfortable space where, you can ask questions, network, bounce ideas off of people. It sounds like such a cool concept, and it is, and it already exists. So if you're not in our Facebook group yet, in the description, there is a link. It's a free community where I'm not even kidding you guys. I literally thought Facebook was dead. I'm in a podcast program where they encourage you to start a Facebook community as somewhere where you can connect with people. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll do it because you're telling me to do it, but it's not going to work. And sometimes I'm bad because I won't do things. I'm so resistant to do them because I feel like I know best, but I took a chance and I definitely was really, really surprised. Our community on Facebook, every single day, there are multiple people answering questions, posting questions, connecting with each other. Like, it is so amazing to see. It's like my favorite part of my day, honestly. Like, so if you're not in our group, first of all, you should get in our group. But one thing I wanted to mention with this is, have you ever thought about creating a Facebook group? You know, like if you're someone who talks about plants on your Instagram or your TikTok, create a Facebook group about plants. Like, and it's a cool place where you can actually interact with a bunch of people at once, because most of our interactions on Instagram or TikTok are one-on-one, unless people are kind of like, you know, going off on comment chains in your comments. But I just feel like that doesn't happen often. But I'm not kidding you. The connections that have been made, the transparency, the knowledge in our Facebook group is out of control. So if you've been thinking about starting a Facebook group and you think Facebook is dead, I'm going to tell you right now that it is not, to my surprise. And I definitely think that you should get a Facebook group going. If you do, invite me to it. I would love to join, unless it's something I don't know anything about. Like, don't invite me to your Funko Pop Facebook group. I don't know shit about things like that. Anyway, also last piece of news here. I just can't read. Instagram is working on the ability to reply to stories with a drawing. Okay, this feels like something we totally don't need, but I feel like, sure, let's add it in there. Again, one of those things that Instagram does that you're like, don't we have bigger problems to be solving right now? You want me to be replying to stories with drawings? I do not even have time to answer my DMs and comments and connect with people and post and plan my posts and shoot my posts. You want me to be drawing back and forth to people? I'm sorry, guys. I think this is like a fun idea, but I saw it and I was just like, you are tripping if you think that I'm going to have time to use something like this. But hey, you never know. I'll be totally transparent with you. I can see myself freaking sending Andrew some little penis drawings on this. I don't know. That's just the way I am, you guys. Anyway, so I think this will be a lot of fun. Don't know how much I'll actually utilize it. Overall, a lot of the news this week was interesting, questionable, not sure how I feel about it. But that's typically how the ball rolls here with Instagram news. So looking forward to seeing you guys again next week. Enjoy the interview with Emma. And honestly, after this episode, if you are going to host an Instagram or a TikTok live, definitely send me the link to it, invite me, and I encourage you to try it. You've got to just try it. Give it a go just once. All right, guys, I am here today with my lovely friend Emma, who is a small business owner and just an incredible human in general. So I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to be here.
Of course. Yeah, it's awesome because Emma owns this really great business, which she's going to tell you about in a second. But I was thinking about doing an episode on Instagram Lives, and I was like, whose lives do I actually watch that I like pay attention to and enjoy? And yours is literally the only one that I can think of.
Well, I'm honored.
So, I was like, she's the perfect person to get on here because I feel like you do it very well and you seem very comfortable, which I think a lot of people aren't. So let's start off by having you just kind of give us the rundown on you and your business.
Okay, well, I'm Emma. I own Ragland Clothing Company. I've been running that. My 3-year anniversary is actually coming up in about 3 weeks from today.
3 years?
Sure. Yeah, 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
I started it when I was 17 years old. Just selling stuff out of my personal closet. And then once that started picking up, I began going to thrift stores and sourcing from there, just like getting like ratty men's vintage t-shirts and kind of stuff. But now I sell a lot more like higher end kind of stuff, a lot of like Free People, Anthropology and all that jazz. And then some designer stuff as well. But nowhere near the retail price, which is great. And I sell it mainly on Instagram Lives, actually. But I also sell on my website. I'm on Poshmark, I'm on Mercari, Tradesy, Depop, all of the things. All the things. Yeah.
So how did you actually, I'm curious, this is kind of a side note to our Instagram Live talk, but I'm actually really curious, how did you start this business? How did you get this idea and actually say, this could be something I could actually make good money with?
So I actually found out about the Instagram thrift community from my friend Chloe. I was over at her house one day. like just after school one day.
Yeah.
And she was like, Emma, have you seen like these like thrift accounts on Instagram? I'm like, no, I haven't. She's like, oh my gosh, she would love these. So I started buying from a couple, and then I was like, I can sell some stuff. I had just quit a hostessing job that I was real tired of, and I was about to go try an interview for Olive Garden that was opening up near me.
Oh my goodness, how glamorous.
Oh my gosh, so glamorous. But I was gonna go do an interview for them, but I was waiting for them to open and everything. So I was like, okay, while I wait, I'll just get rid of some of the stuff in my closet and just sell it on Instagram. And yeah, that started doing really well. So I was like, okay, maybe I can become one of these thrift accounts. And now I am like one of the more well-known ones, which is pretty cool.
That's so awesome. And you're so young too. How old are you?
20.
Oh my gosh, amazing. I love it. I love it. That's so great. So when you were kind of starting your business, obviously with this like whole Instagram thrift community, like it's based on Instagram. Obviously, social media is a huge part of what you do.
Yeah.
Like your business may or may not exist without social media. Like,
yep.
So how do you handle the idea that your business is based on social media? Like, do you ever think about like what would happen if social media were to like just stop one day? I'm sure it won't, obviously. But
yeah, I've thought about it a lot.
I'm in the same boat, so
Instagram has gone through this phase of just disabling a bunch of people's accounts, which I know you've dealt with as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the thrift accounts that I personally know have had that happen to them. So I'm like terrified that that's going to happen to me someday, because I've built this for 3 years now, and I don't want it to just come crashing down on me. It's my full-time income. I don't do anything else.
Right.
So yeah, that would be very stressful. I honestly try not to think about it.
I know, right?
I try not to think about it. I used to only sell on Instagram, and then I got a website. And then now I'm actually like cross-listing all my stuff on things like Poshmark and Mercari and all that, as a way to diversify a little bit more. Yeah.
Right. So when you were getting started with your business, I don't know, did you do lives like straight from the beginning, or was this something like you were mostly doing, sharing the posts of the items and things like that, and then you got into lives, or when did lives come about?
So lives, I don't know if Instagram Live was a thing whenever I first started. I don't think it existed yet. Or it may have, but it may have just not been popular yet. But I don't think it was a thing yet. So I just did like drops on my feed and just posted everything on my Instagram feed, and people would just buy it from there. They bid on the items, and I'd do a little auction on there. But then
I've seen accounts like that.
Yeah. I really got into lives though. Right whenever COVID happened, actually, like right in 2020, lives started to become pretty popular on Instagram for resellers. Some people think that they invented like selling lives, but I remember so vividly sitting in the living room with my mom whenever I was in, I don't know, like intermediate school, elementary school, something like that, and watching LuLaRoe's Facebook Lives.
My gosh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was a big thing.
We used to always watch those and get the leggings whenever those were like super popular. Obviously now, no.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
not. But they became really popular on Instagram during COVID. So I started doing that, and it was doing really, really well. So I've just been doing it ever since then, doing lives once or twice a week on my account.
That's really awesome. Also, side note, did you watch that LuLaRoe documentary?
Yes.
I was mind blown.
Same. I was like and they just like thought there was nothing wrong with it.
The fact that they got on and actually were like part of the show, I was just like, you guys know that they're literally just shitting on you this entire time, right?
Literally.
Like, are you like, were you brought in here under like false pretenses? Because, like that was an interesting situation.
But, it was very interesting.
Yeah. So it's cool that you started doing these lives. So when you first started doing them, did you like automatically people were coming on? Because I didn't remember during COVID, like I feel like I watched a lot of lives because again, like what else was there to do? It was the only way to like see people. Yeah. So was it kind of like an instant hit for you, or was it really slow at first?
It really was. It was a pretty instant hit. I want to say I had about 3,000 followers maybe at the time on my Instagram account, 2,000 or 3,000. I was still small.
Wow. You've grown a lot.
Yeah, now I'm at over 11,000, which is awesome.
So good.
But yeah, it was an instant hit. I was friends with some bigger accounts in the community, so we would do like Collab Lives and stuff, and each sell like 2 items, and then the other person sell 2 items, and just go back and forth.
That's a great idea.
It was a hit. It was a massive hit. I did weekly lives with a couple different people. Yeah, it just was really, really popular from the get-go because there was nothing else to do. Exactly. And now it's slowed down since everything's opened back up. I feel like lives aren't being watched as much, which is why I like tried to diversify a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was a very instant hit from the beginning. That's sure.
That's really awesome. I feel like people are so like lives can be so intimidating to make, you know? So like even the idea of you being like, okay, it's COVID, I've got nothing else to do, like I'm just gonna get on here and see what happens. Like that must have been really intimidating, wasn't it? Like were you super nervous the first time?
Yeah, I definitely was. I had just turned 18, I think, whenever I started doing lives. And yeah, I had a massive fear of public speaking. Massive. I hated talking in front of the crowds.
I would never know.
Yeah, but I could get up and like sing in front of 1,500 people just fine. I was going to go to college for music before I started my whole business. That was going to be my thing. Yeah, but I was so intimidated at first, but I saw all these other people doing lives. I was like, okay, maybe I should give it a try because I think it could do really well. And then I just started doing it. I was like, okay, this isn't that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah, it's like jumping into a pool where you're like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then you do it and you're like, okay, it's fine. It's fine. I live to tell the tale.
Yeah, exactly.
So how much has Instagram Lives impacted your sales? And I mean, you don't need to give us actual numbers, but I'm just curious, like before you were doing lives, I'm assuming you were obviously like selling some stuff. Now that you, or I guess at the point when you started doing lives, did it totally like kick off your sales like crazy as well?
Yes, 100%. I had that first year of my business, 2019, whenever I started that in May. I wasn't making nearly enough to even like qualify to file taxes or anything like any of that. But then I started doing lives in 2020. It just like I want to say it probably doubled my sales.
That's really awesome.
If not more than that. It was insane because I also was just growing pretty exponentially throughout 2020. Right. It's been a little bit like stagnant since then, like just kind of stuck. Yeah. But
you're not alone. I think that's happened with a lot of people.
Yeah. Sure. But it really just was a big boom for my sales. So that was really pretty cool. Yeah.
So since you've been like, okay, you had your store before your lives, then you started your lives, everything is going super, super well. Now, how did you kind of like keep this community, I guess you could say, that's been coming to your lives for years now? I mean, this is 2 years later that you've been doing these lives. And, you know, like I've been in your lives plenty of times, and it's just so crazy how not only are people like obviously like bidding on the clothes or, you know, saying like acclaimed and whatever, but like people are just talking in there. Yeah. And it almost feels like you're hanging out. So like, how have you been able to kind of like cultivate this community of just people who are actually engaging and interacting with you, but also with other people in the chat?
Yeah. So I really pride myself on having a really great customer service experience with my business. That has always been my strong suit is customer service. That's why I feel like I was a fantastic hostess. And a lot of people feel like they can't handle the customer service stuff, but I feel like I can take it.
That's good. Yeah.
So I try to make it, I try and make it really personable. And just like, I want to get to know my customers because I don't want it to just be like, okay, give me your money and I'll give you these clothes. Like, I want to get to know these people. I want to be friends with them. I've made some friends out of some of my customers, which has been great. Met some of them in person even. Like, it's been really cool. So I just try and create relationships with them. I'll follow some of them sometimes, or like look at their stories and like check in on them occasionally, just see how they're doing. If I see something and I'm like, okay, so-and-so would love this, then I'll be like, oh my gosh, Jen, I thought of you for this dress. You need it. And then she'll be like, oh my gosh, yes, give me that. Like, I just try and make it really personable. So then also other people want to have that same experience in my lives and get to know each other a bit more. So then they just chat and we all just are like friends. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. It's like hanging out in a room with a bunch of girlfriends and one person just happens to have a bunch of cute stuff that they're selling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I really like about lives is that they're very, like, a really good way to make personal connections. And the thing is, and I don't know if you agree with this, but like on social media in the last few years, I feel like things have become so like robotic and everything is very transactional. And like, you know, you leave a comment on someone's post so that they'll go leave a comment back on yours, not because you actually like it, because you want something back, you know? And I feel like we've almost like lost the social part of social media. Like no one's interested in just like hanging out and not getting anything from other people. So I feel like lives are kind of a good way to just hang out with people and actually get to know people and create relationships so that you can feel like you're actually getting to know people. You know, it feels more social than just like you know, again, leaving like lame comments. Oh my gosh, so cute. And you're just like, cool, this, like, I don't even know who this person is, you know?
Yeah, like maybe they'll follow me or like my posts or something. Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of that. I feel I totally agree. I totally agree. Like it's gotten very transactional on social media. It's not as social as it used to be. So that's why I really like doing lives, is because I feel like I'm able to connect more with a lot of my followers than a lot more people are able to do.
Right.
I don't know, they're my friends. I just want to chat with them.
Exactly. And I'm sure that like having that personal connection with your followers is obviously great for you because, you know, like just as a person, you get to meet all these new people and everything. But for your business, like even Janine and I have had conversations like, oh my gosh, did you see like that dress that Emma had? And like, you know what I mean? I feel like it does create such a better business as well when you are, you know, actually creating relationships with your customers, you know, like it's got to make a big difference. And I mean, even with followers too, like for anyone who's listening that doesn't have a small business, like being able to like actually stop and say hi, you know, like I've noticed we've been following each other for a while, but we haven't actually talked. Like I want to introduce myself. No one stops to do that anymore.
Yeah, I miss when people would do that. I miss doing that.
Exactly. I think it's a time commitment too, you know, like it's hard to be social on social media sometimes because we almost feel like we have this checklist of things we have to get done before we can just use the app. You know, like do you spend a lot of time like scrolling just for your own personal enjoyment?
Yeah.
See, I feel like sometimes I just don't even have the time to scroll the app as not a business owner. You know?
No, yeah, you're right. I literally, the only time that I find myself scrolling, I don't even scroll in like the regular feed anymore. I literally only scroll in reels. That's it.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. And I literally am doing it to find sounds that I can use to record reels. Like that's, so yeah, I don't really use it for personal enjoyment. Actually.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah, I feel the same way.
I didn't think about that until you just said that. Wow.
So actually speaking of reels real quick, so do you, obviously you're making reels, but like do you find that reels perform super, super well for you versus like feed posts? Do they bring more people in for you? Tell us about reels with your business.
So reels, I need to get more into them and I need to get on TikTok. I was talking to you about this. I'm not on TikTok. I literally made an account today to try and get myself on there. Because I know that would
love it.
Yeah. But yeah, they perform a lot better than my feed posts 100%. Feed posts now, I just feel like perform so much worse than they used to since Instagram came out with reels. I feel like that just has been a major drop since then of engagement with those. But reels have done really, really well for me. They've brought in a lot of new people. Yeah.
No, that's really awesome. I feel the same. Like obviously when Instagram comes out with these new features, they're pushing them out. They want us to use them, especially because they want us to spend less time on TikTok and more time on Instagram.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily say that's the case for me. I definitely am a TikTok scroller. You made your account and you have literally like signed your life away now because you're gonna spend
I
all
had
of
a
your
TikTok.
time.
I used to have a TikTok.
Okay.
And I was on it 24/7. And then I deleted that because I was like, okay, this is unhealthy. I would spend like 2 or 3 hours watching TikToks. I'm like, okay,
you
can't
get
do
that message where it's like, hey, you've been scrolling for a really long time now. And I'm just like, oh shit.
Take a break.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I feel like TikTok lives for you, like I know you're not doing TikTok lives obviously right now, but for anyone listening, I'll give you my perspective on Instagram live versus TikTok live. Now, and I feel like, I don't know, at first it might be different for you because you've built such a community who's used to coming to your lives. You know, like your people are loyal to your lives.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I don't do them very often. So like if I go on a live, I've got a few people in there and whatever. Like it's not like a huge community where everyone is like chatting back and forth or anything. But let me tell you, TikTok lives, I've been doing them at least once a week, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times a week. And it is out of control how many people go into my TikTok lives versus Instagram. And I don't know why that is. I mean, there will be times where I have over 100 people in a TikTok live. The comment section is going so fast, I can't even keep up with it. And it's like, I'm just like, I am no one. Why are people here? But it's crazy to see like so many more people. Just, I think because it comes up on the FYP where those lives, you know, so more people stumble upon your lives. Whereas on Instagram, I don't really feel like that ever happens.
Yeah. It's just at the top where the stories are.
Exactly.
It's just chilling up there.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I don't know if you've ever noticed this about lives, but like I know that there's got to be more than like 1 or 2 people that I follow that are doing lives, because sometimes I'll only see like one a day, one person doing a live, and I'm just like, there's got to be more people doing lives. I always wonder if maybe it's not showing them to me.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if you've ever noticed it. But
yeah, I've noticed
I always think about that.
There's also been times where Instagram would have these glitches because, of course, it's always glitching. And it would not show lives up in stories. So people would have to go to your profile to see that you're live and then join, which, of course, the people like me that do a bunch of lives, sell a bunch of stuff, hit us really hard.
Yeah,
thankfully
exactly.
That's over with now. But I told all my followers, like, hey, like, turn on your notifications to see whenever I go live, because it really helps.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Sometimes they don't send out the notifications though.
That's the thing with Instagram. You can't trust them sometimes, most of the time.
Literally.
So, okay, I want to talk about like getting comfortable on lives, because I feel like I ask people, what do you guys have for questions about Instagram, TikTok live, whatever. And I'm not even kidding you. 80% of the questions was just like, how do I not feel awkward? How do I get comfortable? Like, and I get that, because again, I think once I started doing it, like now I don't care. I will be on any camera. I will be on any story, post, whatever. Because like you just do it so much that it doesn't faze you anymore. But people who have like never done it before are so uncomfortable because it's so intimidating. So what tips do you have for people who are in this situation? Like, what are like a few tips you can give people to get comfortable being on lives?
Yeah. Okay. So I was super scared at first to start doing lives, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
Something that I found really helps me is I give myself a pep talk before every live. Nobody really knows that, but I give myself a pep talk. I listen to Work Bitch by Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Every time to like hype myself up and get myself like ready to go and like energized and like, okay, you can do this. You're going to be okay. So, and then I also just play music throughout my lives constantly. That I found really helps me actually. Because also if there's those awkward pauses, I just kind of like vibe to the music for a second. I'll like crack a joke. I'll tell a random story or something.
Yes.
Because that happens a lot. Or I'll just show clothes. But
yeah, right.
But yeah,
so you hype yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah, hype yourself up. It's really just be yourself. Like, don't feel like you need to like be somebody else for the camera, because that comes across. So really just relax, take a breath, be yourself. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And don't pay attention to the viewer count also. That is something that I don't even look at anymore. I used to look at it like every 2 minutes while I was live, like look in that corner and be like, okay, how many people are watching now? But now I don't even look at it because it just would get me, I'd get upset, and then that would come across. People would be able to see like, okay, she's like, something's wrong, because my energy just wouldn't be the same as it was. So now I just don't even pay attention to that. I wish there was a way to hide it so that you didn't even have to see it at all. But just don't pay attention to the viewer count. Be yourself. Hype yourself up if you need to. Play some good music.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really
I think music in the background is a really good tip, because it's true. It will definitely like fill the silence. And I will say too, like from what I've experienced with lives, when I first used to get on, because I'm not like showing something necessarily. It's usually me talking. And one thing I used to do in my lives all the time was like, I would literally just feel like I could not stop talking or else it was going to get weird. You know, like you just like have to fill the silence. Okay. Like, and I don't know. Yeah. But like, I'm going to talk about something and like, yep. So no one's really talking in the comments, but you know, like you feel like you have to like keep the show going. But I think something to think about is like people are on lives because they're like hanging out with you, like they're with you. You know, if you were with someone, would you literally just like not let there be 1 second of silence? Like it's fine if there's silence, you know? Yeah. I mean, with those awkward moments of silence, when you feel like you don't have anything left to say and your people aren't saying anything in the comments, like how do you handle those situations? It probably doesn't happen to you much now.
Oh, it does happen quite a bit, actually. I mean, I just show clothes a lot of the time. I'm like, okay, I'll just show another item of clothing. But sometimes I do go live just to go live, and I'm not showing clothes, and I'm just hanging out. So I'll just be like, okay, like what happened to me this week? Like, what's a story I can tell to fill this space? What's something funny that I'm thinking about that I can bring up? Okay, did something in current events happen that's like really interesting, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, that I can talk about, and then somebody will make a comment.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. And I feel like I almost subconsciously do that because as you were saying, I was like, oh yeah, I can think of like a few times that I've totally done that. But like, you don't think about it. You're just like, okay, well, let me like say something. And then those are great things to pull from though. That's actually good points. I like that.
Thank you.
Speaking of comments, like, do you ever kind of like encourage people? Maybe this would be more for the lives where you're not showing clothes, but like, do you ever like, you know, verbally encourage people to like, oh yeah, like, you know, leave a comment and let me know this? Or do you find that ever, if you do it, do you find that it works for you?
Yeah, I do it in lives whenever I'm selling stuff too, because I want to know like, okay, what do you guys want me to pull out first? Like, what are the things that y'all want me to show? So I'll always ask that. If I'm just like live on my own, then I'll ask like, it's a lot of time before I go into the thrift store. So I'll be like, okay, like, is there anything you guys want me to pick up? Or I'll also just be like, okay, like, how was your week? Did anything fun happen for you guys? Like, tell me about your week. Because it doesn't feel forced also, because I want to know those things. Like, I want to hang out
genuinely asking.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just chilling and asking, and like just ask about people's weeks and how they're doing.
Questions in general.
Yeah, and then like somebody will be like, oh my gosh, I just got married. Oh my gosh, I just went to Puerto Rico. And then you can just start talking about that. It's really fun.
Exactly. No, and again, I think that's another one of those ways to like build that connection. Like you don't always have to be selling every second you're on there, or teaching, or whatever it is that you want to do on a live. You don't always have to be doing it every second. Like you can use that space to hang out with people too, you know? Sometimes what I do on TikTok lives, because sometimes there will be moments where like no one's in the comments, no one's talking. And so I'll ask a question, and if it like takes a second and no one answers, I'll literally be like, guys, I'm not moving forward until someone answers this question. Like I'll straight up say it, because then someone will answer the question and then we'll get a conversation going. So sometimes you have to just tell people like, you got to just do it.
There you go.
So when you are, obviously you're doing lives super frequently. You said you do them mostly, what, 2 times a week?
Yeah, once or twice a week, typically.
Okay. So obviously your audience has probably gotten into kind of like a routine of like, all right, well, you know, if we want to shop, obviously we have to turn on the notifications and everything. So I guess what would you say is like the best way to promote your live? What actual like specific things are you doing to promote your lives? And do you find that there's like certain things that you do that bring more people in than others, or how does that work?
Okay, so I always so I do scheduled lives.
Yeah.
So I always use the little countdown feature in my stories. And I don't know if it's still happening, but I'm acting like it's still happening. But there used to be a glitch like a couple weeks ago, a month ago, where countdowns just wouldn't work after the first day of you making them. So like the first day that you made them, they'd work. But then if you tried to reshare that countdown the next day, then people wouldn't be able to click on it. So now I just make new countdowns every single time I share it, which also is kind of smart because it just fills up their little feed. So like, okay, she's live, I gotta go watch. Rather than it just being one little bar. And then also Instagram came out with recently this amazing little feature where you can have like reminders and posts now, which is amazing. I love it so much. It's oh my gosh, I love it. You get reminded the day before and it like shows you like the week of like different events that you've turned on reminders for. And then it also notifies you 15 minutes before.
That's awesome.
I love that. And you can also share that to your stories as well. I think the tab in those stories thing is like scheduled or something like that. So I've been sharing that a lot of times instead of countdowns because it notifies people so much already. I'm like, okay, this is perfect.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think whenever you can pre-plan a live, like even on TikTok, they have the option to create an event. You give basically like a name, time, date. You can give a description, and people can RSVP. And it's cool because you as the creator can actually see everyone who's RSVP'd. And I definitely think that when I do those, there's obviously a lot more people that are on the lives because they've had the time to prepare. Sometimes when you just get on without warning, people they might be at church, they might be at dinner, like somewhere where they can't like turn the phone on and listen to you. So scheduled lives, I've also noticed, definitely bring in a lot more people, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
So I also want to talk a little bit about motivation. This was a question that a few people had asked. How do you find the motivation to like stay consistent with your lives? I mean, I know for you, I guess it's like your income is kind of based on it, but like there's got to be days when you're just like, I'm so tired right now and like I'm not feeling it. Like that's fine. Obviously you love your job, but sometimes that's just how it goes. So how do you find motivation to stay consistent?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm mainly motivated because it's my income. So I'm like, okay, I need money. So I have to go live. But yeah, there's just some days where I'm like, okay, I just want to sit on my couch and watch Netflix. I don't want to get up and go live. I don't feel like talking to people today. Don't feel like having 3 photo lights on me for 3 hours. So I guess just being like, okay, like these people are looking forward to seeing me. They're looking forward to talking to me. I want to talk to them. I like hanging out with them. So just do it.
Yeah, like it's almost like a responsibility to your audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you look at it that way.
Exactly. Because you don't want to, my thing is, it's like, you don't want to say you're going to do something and then not do it. I'm guilty of doing that. I feel like everybody is.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, I don't want to like let them down because I know there's quite a few people that are like, oh my gosh, I got so happy whenever I saw that you were live. I had a really crappy day. I'm just here to hang out. Like I have those comments probably every single live. One person, 2 people being like, oh my gosh, like I needed to see you today. So I guess it's like thinking about those people and being like, okay, I can really cheer somebody up just by turning on my camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, besides the income factor, that's the other thing that I'm like, okay, like I want to make people happy. That's why I love doing what I'm doing.
Right.
So yeah,
it's almost kind of like going to the gym where like you sometimes really don't want to go, but after you go, you feel so good. Like
exactly.
I feel like that so we have for our mentorship program, we do like nighttime calls so that some, like more people who work 9 to 5 can come to them. And sometimes I'm like, I've worked all day. I don't want to go back to work at 7 p.m., but then I leave that call and I'm just like so fired up from like talking to so many people that, you know, like so many people that I have connections with. I was able to help people, make people feel good. I'm sure you get kind of the same feeling of just like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Definitely. How about Instagram Live badges? I know that that's something that has recently come out, and I think everyone has access to it now, like as of recently. So, do you use those? And if so, like, how does it go for you?
Yeah, I use badges. The thing about them that kind of drives me crazy is Instagram is very slow to pay out for
Oh my gosh,
badges.
yeah.
So slow. You also have to wait. You have to hit $100 a month of badges for them to be able to pay it out. But then it takes them like 2 or 3 months to pay it out. And it's driving me crazy. But then it's also nice whenever that pops up in my bank account. I'm like, oh, it's like Christmas Day. Like, it's a nice little present. But yeah, I use them. I encourage people to buy them. I don't like bring it up a lot, but occasionally, not even on every live, I don't even talk about them. I just kind of have them there.
Yeah.
But occasionally I'll be like, okay, like if you want to support me, but you can't afford the clothing today, like, there's still badges. These really help me out. Whatever, you get cute little hearts next to your name.
Yeah, exactly. If there's no more motivation, you get cute hearts next to your name when you're in this room. So
exactly. And then whenever you're hitting the little hearts on the lives, then your hearts are different colors than other people.
I did not know that. Okay, I'm gonna buy one next time just so I can see that.
Mom buys them every time. She likes to get multiple ones because it'll have the hearts, and then it'll be like +3.
Oh my God, she's amazing. For anyone who doesn't know, Emma's mom I want her to adopt me. I'm gonna be your new sister.
She's everyone's mom, I feel like.
She's so incredible. That's actually how I met Emma, was through her mom. I'm sure she's listening right now. So hi, Michelle.
Of course. Hi, Mom.
So I guess my last kind of question I want to ask you about just being a business owner in general. I know a lot of the creators who are listening want to open their own businesses. They want to start, you know, basically taking their creator careers and not just relying on Instagram and TikTok for income. So, do you ever, as a small business owner, experience like imposter syndrome?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every day, probably. Like, it's hard not to, I feel like, have imposter syndrome as a small business owner, especially a small business owner that's based through social media, because you just see everybody all around you doing so good. You're like, I shouldn't be here. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. But yeah, I experience that all the time.
How do you get yourself out of it?
You know, I don't really know. It's just, I guess it's kind of like, okay, like, Emma, you can pay for your own apartment. You can pay your bills. Like, you're doing something right. You're doing this full time. You have to be doing something right. Even if it feels like you aren't sometimes, like, something you're doing is going really great for you.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Like, reminding yourself of what you have accomplished and what you've been able to do. Like, again, you must be doing something right if you can pay your rent with like this job, you know, like that itself is success right there. So
exactly,
that's a good point. Yeah. Whenever I feel imposter syndrome, I feel like the universe does this on purpose. I don't know how it coincidentally happens, but whenever I'm feeling it, I feel like I'll randomly look through my DMs and I'll see someone who's just like, oh my gosh, listen to your podcast. It was amazing. I learned so much. I did this and now I have this. And I'm just like, okay, there you go. Imposter syndrome's gone. Because it's just cool to know, again, like, I'm sure you get messages from people, oh my gosh, I got this dress from you and I wore it to this event and everyone gave me compliments. I feel amazing. Like, that, I feel like alone is just like, okay, I did my job.
Those kinds of messages just make my heart so happy. Or whenever I see like somebody tag me in a post and I get to see them wearing whatever they bought for me, I love when people tag me and show me what they bought, because it makes me so happy, like seeing these different events that they're wearing them for. One of my best customers, Annika, she got engaged in a dress for me. And another one did too. 2 different ones I know got engaged in dresses for me. And it made my heart so happy just to see them like so happy in an outfit from me, like feeling confident. I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart is just exploding.
That's like, it's one of those moments where you're like, that's why I do what I do.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, at the end of every episode, I asked my guests to give me one question of their choice. So I open the floor to you to ask me any one question that you would like.
Does it have to be about like something specific or just anything?
Whatever you want. I've gotten some weird questions.
Okay.
I didn't give you time to prepare either. I feel like when I don't give people time to prepare, their questions are better. So
Oh, okay. You like to thrift, right?
Oh, I love to thrift.
What's your favorite thing you've ever thrifted?
That's a hard question. Okay, let me think about that. Do you have an answer to that?
For myself or to sell? Or both?
I don't know. Both. Yeah, both.
Oh gosh.
See,
okay. Well, one that I kept for myself and then sold. This was really recent. This was back in like, I don't know, January, I would say. Yeah. I got this really gorgeous pastel dress from Amanda Uprichard. I paid a lot for it, but luckily it was like a really expensive dress. So I got to make profit still.
Right.
But I wore that for a little Valentine's picnic that my boyfriend surprised me with. And then I got to sell it too. And it just was this gorgeous, just tiered, like rainbow pastel dress with a really pretty slit. Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
Sometimes you go to the thrift store and you're just like, someone was looking out for me today. Like I found gems today. And sometimes you go and you're like, this is trash. I'm never coming back.
Yeah, it's all just Forever 21.
Yeah, exactly. I would say like, I don't know. I'm not thinking super hard about it because I feel like I thrift. I mean, you do too. I thrift so much that I'm just like, how do I even keep track? But my mind keeps going back to this. I like really like retro stuff. I love when an old lady cleans out her closet and brings it to the Goodwill. I'm just like, sister, thank you so much for this. So I got this one. It was like a suit. It was a white and orange, like checkered suit, but like really, really small checkers. It was so cute. And it had like patches on it that were like these floral daisy patches. I still have it because I like refuse to get rid of it, but it does not fit me anymore. I got it like 5 years ago, but I can't get rid of it. So I just...
Oh my God, that's so cool though. I love that.
It's so fun. Thrifting is amazing. For anyone who's listening that doesn't thrift, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, go thrift from Emma's store. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Because then you don't have to take all the time to do it yourself.
That's the best part, truly.
All curated for you.
Yes. So for anyone who wants to come shop your store, where can everyone find you on all of the platforms that you're on?
So I'm not on TikTok. I will get on it.
You have an account. That's you got an account now, so that's...
It's Ragland Clothing on TikTok. There's nothing on there. There's not even a bio, but you can go follow it. But my Instagram is Ragland Clothing Co. That's where I do all of my things. I have a website, raglandclothingco.com. I'm on Poshmark, Ragland Clothing Co. Ragland Clothing on Poshmark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'll have all of this linked for everyone where you can just click it and go give her a follow. Check out her stuff. Okay, also for anyone, I don't know if you must still have this because I just saw it the other day. She has this really, really cute pink 2-piece set. I literally, every time she shows it, I don't know why no one has bought it yet, but I literally keep watching her lives and every time I want to cry because it's not my size. But someone please go buy it and then I know that it's going to a good home.
It's like hot pink and white gingham. It's so pretty.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
It screams you. It screams you. Someone needs it. You can live vicariously through them.
That's exactly my plan. Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm sure everyone learned so much. For anyone listening, go get on Instagram Live, TikTok Live. Just do a live. Give it a try. Practice. They actually have a mode that's called practice now, so you can get on and practice.
They have it on Instagram too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you can go practice, see how you like it. You will have fun. You're going to make mistakes the first time, but every time it will get easier.
Yeah. Yay. And you're going to stutter, but it's okay. You'll be okay.
Exactly. All right. Thanks, girl.
Thank you.